Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Whiskey Cavalier. Let's break down a lot of the interesting things went down in this episode. Obviously, this is all about making Standish, kind of a better agent and everything. Because obviously, at the beginning of it, the mission they were on, he went checking on a dude, and Jay had to put him down because the dude was about to shoot Standish. And I love it being like, well, it's like no one can blame you for caring about the dude, because if you didn't care about human beings, it make you a sociopath. And he turns to Frankie, he's like, this is your point to step in. She's like, if it were me, after I finished shooting him, I would have shot you. He's like, you would have killed me? And she's like, no, I would have shot you in the leg to teach you a lesson. And I love when it's all said and done. And Will's like, the fact of the matter is, just shooting him in the leg. Now you've grown. You've grown so much. I'm proud of you. And Frankie's like, I'm trying. I love that. But like, this is Standish leading this operation, and Frankie's just like, that's a terrible idea. And then Will's like, come on, Frankie. Yeah, but Ray, you gotta admit, this is not a great idea. I love that. But Standish has to go as a student to get close to this other student named Young, while everyone else is a teacher. I love Ray be like the rugby coach, and we don't know how much he taught the rest of the class, but one thing we saw of him, he's like posted up and he's like, take your picture. He's like, make your neck as thick as possible. It's like taking your picture. It's like you gotta have like cold eyes, or like you're probably asking yourself, what am I thinking? I'm thinking absolutely nothing. So there's that. I love Jay as that teacher, where it's just kind of like, okay, the fact of the matter is, everything you do is going to be perfect. The girl raises her hand. He's like, I don't answer questions. I keeps walking. I love that. Which is the complete opposite of Susan's, where Susan's like, I'm going to learn everyone's name. And Will and Frankie are teaching a class together, which is kind of neat. And I love, like, it's like, they're talking about, like, obviously, like, the differences of, like, men and women and the sexuality of, like, stories and stuff like that. It's just so interesting. And I even love it being like, they had this, like, moment where they're looking at each other, and then someone in the classroom was like, kiss her already. Everyone's like, ooh. I'm like, that's so good. I love it. I love that girl comes up to kind of flirt with Will a little bit. He's like, hey. And then he's like, oh, do you want to talk to, Frankie's character? And Frankie walks over, and she's like, no. And it's like, oh. Also, I just love that, a big part of this episode is Will and Frankie being mom and dad. And I love it. It's a role that fits them so well, because each one has their different approach. Obviously, Will is the coddling type, which Frankie doesn't appreciate. She's like, the fact of the matter is, you kind of light a fire underneath his butt. And it's kind of like, yeah, Standish, if you don't get this job done, Young is most likely going to die. Because Will's like, no one from our team is going to kill him. And Standish is like, good. Wait, what about from another team? And Will's like, well... but I love that. And it's like, you're talking about the fact is that you're doing such a great job. Why is it that obviously through comms I can hear Standish throwing up? It's like, what? She's like, well, and it's like, well, what do you mean just well? That's just how you're going to lead that? But later on, Standish kind of got pissed at Frankie. It's like, you're trying to break me. You're just like turning the crank and cranking it, and cranking you, and cranking it, and cranking it, and cranking it, and cranking it, and cranking it. And then you stop. Your head's just there as tight as it can be, and you crank it one more time just to hear me crack. Well, you're not going to crack me. And it's like, how is that tough love going for you? I love that. And like Will suggesting that they kind of come together on this whole situation. I do love ultimately that girl, what's her name, Claire, is the one behind she's one of the many people sent to kind of keep an eye on Young. And I love it's like, oh man, that's such a shame, because I don't know if that compliment she said to me was real or not. Because like, there was part of me that was worried that, thinking that, oh man, I still had it, that, they thought I was, college girls still think I'm cute. But what I really love is his response to Susan, be like, hey, while you're interrogating, while you're talking to Claire, could you find out if she really meant that whole thing? Was she really flirting with me or not? And Susan's just kind of looking like, what? And then Frankie's just like, I'm embarrassed for it. And he's like, I'm okay with that. I really love, too, that it isn't just that one-off bit. They literally have a conclusion to the bit where he's like, oh, yeah, so, Susan, did you also get that other information? It's like, I knocked out her teeth. And, you have Will being like, well, I guess we're just never going to get the answer. And Frankie's like, I'm pretty sure we all know the answer. I just love that was a thing. But it's like, Will, it needs a nice little confident booster. All right, I had to try to remember what that line was earlier. That's kind of like, Susan was like, would you have preferred me not say anything about her being, and then like that Claire being someone else undercover, and that, you know, you randomly find out when she shoots you in a parking lot or something like that. And Will goes, yes, there's a part of me that would have preferred that. Yes, Susan. And it's just I love Will so much. I also love Susan and Jay being so gossipy. It's like, oh, they got their little reality show thing going where it's like a student and a teacher affair. And it's like, oh, the fact of the matter is, oh, he's married. Oh, he's a bad guy. He's the worst. And then later on, it's like, there's no wine. She's not drinking the wine. Why? It's like, oh, she's pregnant, but he had a vasectomy. The baby's not his. Oh, it's like they get so caught up in it. I love that at the end, Will being like, you need to put that to rest. Don't watch it. And they're like, okay, we won't. And then they watch it, and it's like the vasectomy didn't go through, so the student and the teacher are going to get married, but he still hasn't told his wife. He doesn't, I guess the student also doesn't know about him having a wife either of the cases. It's like, oh, neither one of them knows. It's just so funny with that whole situation. I love it. I love Ray and the whole Tomas situation. That was pretty dope. I'm like, yo, Tomas. I mean, he looks like he's been held back, like, you know, this is like his 14th time or something, but still, yay, Tomas. It's pretty dope. But sadly, the rugby jersey he had, he doesn't get to keep because Tomas found out he wasn't really a rugby coach, so he ended up taking it from him. I really like the whole aspect of, like, obviously Standish on the cover and him trying to be friends with Young, but Young just being an asshole at every single turn, and just like every attempt he's making, he's trying to be friendly, he's trying to be funny, and just none of it's working. And, you know, like, there's a whole thing of, like, Will and Frankie working together to attack them so Standish looks like the hero. I thought Standish was in on it. It's like, no, that was all, like, you know, staged and everything. It's like, oh, why did you guys not tell me about it? It's like, well, the fact of the matter is, it needed to look convincing, plus your acting sucks, and your acting isn't great. And he's like, that's hurtful. And then there's that moment, like, he later on shows off Tina. It's like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. And he's like, Young is like, dude, how is this possible? She's super hot. He's like, man, you're so lucky. He's like, I know. It's like, haha, funny. Tina killed Emma. It's like that. It's that thing. It's that weird thing of like, ha ha ha. We're jokes containing Tina. Ha ha ha. She killed Emma. You know, it's that weird situation of like, oh, you find yourself laughing into bits and stuff like that because it's like, you know, because it's like the person on my team and she, you know, someone threatened to shoot me, you know, just so I can seem like a hero in front of you. It's like, no, what was it? Like, if I failed this whole situation, someone, you know, most of my team has my back except for one person. She would be willing to shoot me. It's like, is it your girlfriend? And he's like, I was actually thinking about Frankie, but no, Tina would shoot me too under those circumstances. I love that. Kama even later on, she's like, yeah, but if you ever call me on a mission again, trying to show me off, I will shoot you. He's like, oh, she totally will. It's like, because she might have been doing actual work, or she might have been doing something super off the books that she had to play it all cutesy and stuff like that. And the fact of the matter is, you calling her up like that would have threatened her mission because she's actually really a bad guy. She killed Emma. That's like, I can't help it. It's just that's what's floating in the back of my head. I'm like, bits. Oh, it's funny. It's like, it's kind of weird to think about that too. It's like, oh yeah, you have these funny bits with a character that the audience knows is evil, that is bad, the other characters don't. You know, it's just, I mean, to be fair, I guess it balances itself out because it's a Standish bit combined with Tina, but still. I did like it though that when the time came that they did bond, Standish and Young, in the whole situation of like, and I'm smarter than you. No, I'm smarter than you. Having each other's back, though. I love Will being like, hey, Frankie wants to say hi, and Frankie's like, don't die. And then you have Standish being like, hi, Frankie, and it's just kind of like Frankie handling things her way. I love it, though, when ultimately Young has the choice of whether he wants to return to his country, or is he going to defect? And the whole thing is because obviously he learns the technology he has is going to be used to make weapons, and obviously he doesn't want that, but he's like, how do I know where I go next? Even if I go with you guys and defect to the U.S., who's to say, like, they're just not going to apply my, you know, technology in the same manner as well. So it turns into that whole thing of like, he's not really sure where to go. It's actually kind of interesting when he actually breaks down why he didn't like Standish at first, because for so long a lot of people always want something from him, so for him he just assumed like the same thing from Standish, so he was kind of sorry like I was so abrasive and stuff like that, but they became, you know, pretty tight buds, and I really like that. But I like when the time came, you had Standish, you know, standing up with everything and being like, no, I'm going to go rescue Young. And basically Will and Frankie arguing with each other. Will is like, Frankie's like, this is totally your fault. The fact of the matter is you made him care about Young. And he's like, my fault. This is your fault because of all the way you've been acting and pushing him. You're making him impulsive. And then Stan's just like, Mom, Dad, if you're done fighting, we can go because I know you guys are going to, come with me. And then it's like, we'll be like, we're going to talk about this in the car. I do love the fact is that they do play the mom and dad dynamic when it comes to Standish. I really love that. And also when the whole plan comes together, like he's being a distraction and everything, I will always remember you. He's trying to sing. I'm also purposely singing it terribly just because, music and shit like that. You kind of have to be careful with that type of stuff. But it's like, oh God, he's singing it. And Jay's like, I really like this song. Ray's like, I don't, not anymore. And I even love him throwing that flare. And it's like, really? That's it? And then boom, the explosion came. But it was kind of sad because at first it's like, oh man, Young just doesn't want to be taken advantage of. And I'm like, please don't do this. I thought he's going to pull the trigger himself, but it's like, I was like, Dad, be a bummer. And then like Standish has to be the one to put him down. It's like, oh jeez, that sucks. But then like Standish is waiting for a minute. I'm like, don't tell me it's a fake out, Ed. It totally is a fake out. It's like, wait, what? Why'd you fill us in on a plan? He's like, well, the fact of the matter is you guys had to look real. Plus, you guys aren't that great of actors. And Will pauses for a second. He's like, using our own words against us. He gets that from you. I love it. That dynamic is so freaking good. This show's so good. Like, the dynamic between these characters works so wonderfully when they, like, bounce off of each other like that. I really appreciate it. I really do like it, though, because even Standish at the end is kind of like, you two have gone two different routes about making me a better agent, but I appreciate both of you. And Will's just kind of like, look, Standish, he's kind of growing up in front of their eyes and stuff like that. And you have Frankie just kind of being like, why do you have to ruin the moment by getting all gushy like this and stuff? So, but still, it's nice to see him kind of growing into this, like, respectable agent and stuff in front of them. It's still that situation of like, we still don't want to take credit for you because it's like you still kind of do a lame job, but so we're not really want to be the ones being like, oh yeah, that's our student, we trained them and stuff like that. But yeah, I did also like the photo that Ray's like, oh, I'm gonna put this up, it's kind of this little cute moment. Like, obviously when they took the photo together, it's like, it's a remembrance of them being a team. But I feel like that's going to be foreshadowing for something. Like, they made such a point of that photo being taken. Like, I guess it's like, because I feel like Allerman is going to make it so that the team ends up falling apart. And that's supposed to represent, like, oh, the team at one point in time with this happy family, this is going to be, like, one of their last happy memories. And after this, like, everything is going to start falling apart because the truth is going to spiral out. The whole thing about Tina, Allerman, the trust, and all that, like, that's going to probably circle back around potentially. And I think that's what that photo is going to represent, like, the time when they were good, when things were good and they were happy. But I'm sure there's going to be some tough times ahead potentially. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but still, it could just be like let's have this happy memory. We'll ultimately have to wait and see in that regard. It just clicked in my head at the beginning. I totally forgot about that bit about like Frankie trying to teach him like, how like Standish should go about it. Standish is like, almost basically like, you're really giving me advice about making friends. And then you have Will going like, yeah, that was him taking a dig at the fact that you don't have any friends. She's like, yeah, I have friends. I made a new one. It's like, what's his name? Keith? Keith what? Richards? Oh yeah, like lead guitarist from the Rolling Stones. And it's like, I love that. It's like Frankie being terrible at making friends. Like I said, it's just so good, the dynamic between these characters. But nevertheless, that was floating in my head, so I just want to add it in there at the end anyway. But nevertheless, I'm very interested to see where the next episode takes us with all of this. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, love life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.